Hi guys, how's it going? I look like a hot mess. I'm just gonna warn you right now. It's Saturday, and on Saturdays I meal prep for Danny for the week. It's a little different now that he does keto instead of paleo. It's not a big difference. Probably the biggest difference is kind of the amount of vegetables that he gets. I used to just kind of fill the bowl with them. That light is super bright. Um, and now obviously they're more sort of thing. But a lot of the lunches are pretty similar. But if you're having issues trying to come up with ways to make keto successful for you and you work in an office or somewhere that's not at home anyway, I thought I would give you kind of an idea of what I do for Danny. It takes me probably about an hour, hour and a half at most, maybe, to get all this stuff done and prepped. So this is just 1 week. This is actually a full 7 days. So kind of be aware of that. Obviously, if you just need to do 5 days, you can do even less. Personally, I like to do the 7 days because then I'm done. Like I don't have to worry about the weekends either. He has his food in the fridge. He just goes and grabs it, and it's there. So one of the things that I have to do is make sure that he knows how many carbs he's had. So he has his carb allowance. We're trying to keep him at 11 total carbs. So all the carbs you see here on the lids are total carbs. They are not net carbs. And again, we're doing keto for Danny for mental clarity. I just think for that purpose, it's more important. And yeah, I know it's a mess because I just finished meal prepping. So you're going to see the aftermath of my table of what it looks like. But I use these highlighters to just write on the lids. And then any container that is going to be heated, I use glass. So I really like these lids right here. So I have 2 salmon meals. I do try to get him to have fish 3 times a week just to get those omega-3s in, which is also really good for brain function. So this is just 2 pieces of salmon, and then it's about 150 grams of roasted broccoli. And I literally just do, he has that same thing twice. I'm not going to open that container up. But yeah, so he'll have that twice a week. And I'm not going to be able to snap that with one hand, but it's on a sheet pan. So it's literally a baking sheet pan. It's actually the same size as this pan over here that I have some chicken drying out. I'm going to make him some wings for dinner tonight. It's one of his favorite meals. It's kind of become a Saturday tradition for the past month or so that I whip up some crispy wings, but got to dry them all out first and then I'll bake them in the oven. That's not for a meal prep though. That's his dinner for tonight because I'll be at work. So the next thing I'll show you is this is whenever I get steak on sale. I've talked about this before. I buy all that I can possibly afford, grill it, and then I either cut in cubes or dice it. And I stick it in the freezer. And I actually put it in a better bag than this crappy bag as well, but so it's a little bit safer. I got a food saver for Christmas, so I'm excited to be able to start using that. But you'll notice that this is a plastic container. So he does have a glass container that he can use to heat the steak up. The steak will obviously be defrosted by the time he eats this. So he'll be able to just throw it in this bowl. But this is literally just some mini bell peppers, just the sweet bell peppers. I really have been liking getting these recently because they stay a lot better. Like they last longer than the big bell peppers. And it's just easier to kind of control how many carbs you get as well. The bell peppers, I live in the Northwest, and our bell peppers are freaking gigantic. So even if I put large bell pepper on chronometer, it's still like half of the bell pepper. So I really like those. I do use my gram scale though to measure that out. And he's also got some red onion and some fresh cremini mushrooms. So these are the cremini mushrooms. I just get them in bulk at Winco. They're pretty cheap. And then just a little bit of red onion. It doesn't take much. I do season it with a little bit of garlic powder or garlic salt and a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. And then saute it with about a quarter of a cup, 2 tablespoons to a quarter cup of butter till they get kind of soft and delicious looking. So I'll just put that, and I'll usually throw things kind of in the freezer to cool it down enough so that I can put a lid on it and then throw it in his box here. So he's got a fork and all the things. But yeah, this literally just wipes off. So it's really easy, but it doesn't wipe off like in his lunchbox. Oh, sorry about that. So I can just rewrite that really easy, but it's really nice. So then he can track his carbs for the day. So when he comes home for dinner or whatever, he knows what he had that particular day. And for breakfast, because he goes to work really early in the morning, he has to be to work by 7. So I usually just boil eggs and he grabs those. So I was thinking of doing some egg cups this week, but we'll see. I gotta trim up my doggo today, so we'll see how much time I have. And this is a chicken bacon salad. This is like a keto dream. So I don't know. That is 1.4 carbs. The only carbs that are in this are the green onion that's in here. So this is literally just chicken, bacon, mayonnaise. When I saute the chicken, I cut it up into cubes. This was a recipe. I don't remember who I got it from. I've obviously tweaked it since then. It's pretty simple, right? It's chicken and bacon. But I do a little bit of garlic, salt, and a lot of turmeric for, reduced inflammation. So yeah, 1.4 carbs. So that's going to be awesome. So on a day he wants to come home and have pizza or like an eggplant lasagna or something like that, or chili, some of those things that have a lot of tomatoes that are higher carbs. Or maybe he wants to come home that day and have a cheesecake or a fat bomb, a coconut fat bomb. He can. So 1.4 carbs for that. Here we have a steak salad. So I've just got my homemade balsamic vinaigrette dressing, which is literally just olive oil with some balsamic vinaigrette, just some straight up balsamic vinaigrette. That does have a little bit of carbs, so pay attention to that. The olive oil doesn't, obviously. I got some of these delicious tomatoes. I love this package of tomatoes that just has this wide variety of cherry tomatoes. The different flavors that they have is just, it's really robust, and you can see it doesn't take a lot to get all that flavor. I don't cut them up because then they would just turn to tomato mush juice. And I kind of cheated today. I actually bought some pre-mixed salad mixed, so it was on sale at Winco. So I bought this stuff, just some classic romaine. Yes, it has a little bit of carrots, but you can see I did 2 servings in here. So that's going to be 8 carbs total for that. And then I just did 1 of the little mini sweet bell peppers and a little bit of onion, because again, those things, a little bit goes a long way. And then we've got some shredded Colby Jack cheese, which is delicious. So this is a little bit higher. So on a day that he has this, that's something he has to pay attention to. When he comes home, he won't be able to have as many carbs. So on that night, we'll probably have more of just a really basic meat, veg type meal. Most of your like combo meals basically are going to have more carbs. I need to put that fork back in there. All right, and then here we have, you guys seen me do with this before. This is just tuna salad. So it's 2 packages of the tuna fish, which don't hate me. I know tuna's not farmed well or whatever, but this is fairly cheap, and it tastes good. He really likes it. And I put a little bit of celery in there, a whole pickle, one of the really large pickles, some mustard, again, some mayonnaise, and then this right here is some homemade pecan butter. This is 2 tablespoons of homemade pecan butter, and then the celery. And that's actually where most of those carbs are coming from, is the homemade pecan butter. So it's 14.9, so about 15 carbs for that meal. So you can see we've got, so I'll put these all in the fridge, and when I put them in the fridge, I just kind of stack them. I try to alternate because he literally in the morning just grabs and goes. So if I don't alternate, he ends up just having the same food back to back, which he doesn't really care that much, but like it would bug me. I don't know. So I think it bugs me more than it bugs him. Like, why would you want to eat the exact same thing? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of good, but I know the salmon's not really his favorite food, but it's so good for him. So I make him eat it. Uh, and it's delicious, like with the broccoli and stuff. Um, I do put turmeric on his salmon, sea salt, and a little bit of lemon pepper. And then on the broccoli, I put paprika, garlic, and then I drizzle olive oil all on over all of it, and roast it in the oven. So I roasted about 425, anywhere from 20 to about 30, 35 minutes, depending on if it's frozen. Like the fish is usually frozen, but sometimes I use frozen broccoli, sometimes I use fresh broccoli, depending on what we have. For a while, our Walmart was out of fresh broccoli, which was super weird. So anyway, but as you can see there, 7 meals that took me about, I think it took me an hour and 10 minutes to put it all together. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of prep work if you don't have steak already in your fridge. But ironically, we made some steaks the other night, so I could have used those in here. And so that's kind of the key. I think if you work outside of the home and you're making a meal, especially if it's meat, it's like a chicken recipe or steak recipe, hamburger recipe, just make more than what you need for that meal, and then that way you can have that on the side. If you're a person that just hates leftovers, you can stick to the salads. Like the chicken salad doesn't really feel like a leftover because it's a cold food anyway. Same thing with the steak salad and the tuna salad. So you can kind of stick to those if you're one of those people that are like, I can't eat leftovers because it's gross. But we don't care. In our house, we eat leftovers. So, but those are some tips for you. I hope that helped.